I have no idea if I'm going live. So, since it's recording, all I'm going to do is to go ahead and go through this and just let it record because I don't know if it's going live or not. So, no idea. Welcome. If you're here, if you're not, you can watch the replay. So I'm pretty excited about this. Let me show you why. I figured out, and thanks to Stephanie, who told us that we could do this, that we can make these little embossing folders ourselves. So this is just one that I used and made like little gears. And let's see, this is one that I did and made cute little pumpkins. And this one I just put a little bit of ink on the pumpkin so they'd stand out more. So let's see. I don't think I'm live, so that's okay. I'll just do it like this. So let's look at my Silhouette software first. Here we are. And you can see here, these are the ones that I was doing. I did the pumpkin one, as you saw. I did this one, which you haven't seen yet, and I'm working on my desk. And I haven't finished this one with bats either. Obviously, I'm going with a little bit of a Halloween theme. So, the first thing I did was I just went and found a clip art of a pumpkin for this pumpkin one. And notice my pumpkin doesn't end up looking at all like the one in the sample. So that's because I didn't want to go through all the trouble of trying to do all of this. So what I did was, let me delete this mouth now and these extra parts I don't need. So as you know, in Silhouette, we can trace any kind of an image and get it for a cut file. So that's exactly what I did. I just came over here to the trace tool and said select trace area. And then I just started to select this trace area. And okay, it's messed up because I got rid of those extra lines. But all I did was say trace outer edge. And then what I ended up with was just the outer edge of the pumpkin. So let's show you better on the bat. Here's this bat that I brought in. Notice it's clip art. And it has all of this white stuff around it, so it really wouldn't work very well as a cut file at all. So in order to fix that for Silhouette, of course, all we need to do is to come over here to the trace button on the right hand side and click on that trace button to highlight it, which opens up this trace panel. And then I just select the trace area like this. And then all I did was say trace and detach. So what that does, it leaves me with the bat, and I can get rid of the whole white box around him. This is great, you guys. Even for those of you who have Cricut machines, you can use this, and you can do this for your Cricut machine. So here we have one bat, and that's what I used to make this, which I'll show you down on my table in a little bit. So what I did was I got a box just by coming over here to the Shapes tool, and I got a box. And I went ahead and made that box exactly the size that I thought I needed it to be. I just realized something. The reason why I can't see your chats is because it's trying to see Facebook chat. Oh, anyway. Let's see. How do I change that? All right. Hang on just a second, okay? See if I can figure this out very quickly. If not, we'll just carry on. Maybe y'all are seeing me on YouTube. I'm assuming. Okay. Anyway. So I'm just going to carry on, and if you guys are saying something to me, I'll have to go back later and look at the comments because I have mistakenly said that this was going on Facebook chat. Anyway, so here we are, and what I did was I got a rectangle, and I made it the exact size that I wanted it. Now notice I made this one 5.2 by 4.0. And I want you to look down here at my table for a minute. Okay, here we are down here at my table, and these are some of the things that I'm working with. So what I said that I did was I made that square up there, and I think I can actually have both of these together. Combine, yeah. I said I made this square up here 5.25 by 4.0, this square. And I didn't make it that size at first. At first I made the square, if you look down here, I made it 5.5 by 4.25, which is exactly the size of an A2 card, half of it. But the problem with that is this. When I went to go ahead and make something, and I'm not sure if you can see the embossing on here, but anyway, what happened was some of my pumpkins got cut off on the sides, okay? And that's not what I wanted. So what I wanted to do then, I changed the size of my original piece, and I made it be, what was it I said? Let's see. Well, here it is, 4.0 by 5.25. And that works out perfectly for me. So, let me get rid of some of these things out of the way. So this is the one that I made, and I'll just show you down here what I'm doing. I've already cut out this one. Let's see if I can just get you to my screen like this and scroll you in a little bit. The coloring is a little bit off for you, I'm afraid, but you can see these words here, and I've cut them out of cardstock, and I'm gluing them on the other piece of cardstock that has been cut the proper size of 4 inches by 5.25. So I'm gluing these all onto here, and just gluing them on, and I'm going to go back and show you how to do this. And I had my glue bottle open. There we go. And it's not really necessary to do a whole bunch of glue. Just glue them and stick them on willy-nilly on your cardstock like this. And I think this is so cute because we can make our own. You could even customize it with somebody's name if you wanted to. I'm getting kind of close to the edge. I thought I had made some smaller ones. There they are, hiding. So I'm just gluing these on, just willy-nilly like. The font that I used here, in case you're interested, I think it's called Scary. Let me look up here. Scary Halloween font. And I think I had gotten it from defont.com. And I actually used it. Did I use it on this card? Yes. I actually used it on this card that I made the other day. And if you didn't see how I made this card, y'all need to check this out. Look what the knife tool can do. You know, we can make the curved edges, we can make these kind of edges, dovetail, kind of like what they can do with the Cricut Maker, but we can do it just with our machine and have it cut it out just like this. But here's that font, the Scary Halloween font. And this is just a glyph that I got, you know, a font glyph. But anyway, watch this video if you haven't seen it. I think you'll enjoy some of the techniques you can learn. All right, so let me glue some more of these on. Like I said, I have no idea if this is live, but a good thing is it's being recorded. So if anybody does want to watch it, I will be able to post it on YouTube. And if you are there and you're yelling, we're here, we're here. I'm sorry I can't hear you or see you. I'm sorry. This is all new to me, you know. It's okay. Okay, let's see. And the bad part about it is my buddy in my cohort in crime, Tammy, she would ordinarily text me or something, but I have 1, 2, 3, 4 places where there are cameras, and none of them allow me to see my phone because my phone is being used. And I had to have my phone on Do Not Disturb because otherwise we get bumped offline if that happens. All right, so there's that one's made. And I am going to go back and show you how to make these in a little bit. But let's just show you that it works perfectly. So here we have it. And I think I'll put it onto a piece of white. I have a lot of cardstock cut down here, so it's ready to go. So here's the way you do this with your Cuttlebug, or whatever machine I believe that you have, because I know Tracy, who told us about doing this, has a different type of machine. She lives in the UK. So you need to have all of your plates and that little rubber piece. So let me move this over this way so you can see here. Okay, so the first thing that you do is you put down, let me turn it this way so you can see the letters. Plate A, okay, and then you put a B on top of that. The next thing you do is you put the cardstock with the little bits glued onto it on top, and then on top of that you put the card that you're going to put this on. Okay, so we have plate A, plate B, cardstock facing up with the little bits, and the white piece or whatever color you're going to use on top of that, and then the foam piece, which is unusual, right? The foam piece. And then the last thing you need to use, and boy, oh boy, make sure you use the plate last, because I didn't do that the first time I tested this, and I thought I broke my Cuttlebug, because this little mat got all wrapped up around in my Cuttlebug, and I couldn't get it out, and I thought, oh, curses, I've ruined it. So make sure your last piece is a plate. So then I just kind of tap them together, and I'm just going to send it through. Here it comes. Whoops, it's kind of hard to do this at the angle that I'm at, but you'll see. Oh, okay, there we go. So let me move my little bug out of the way. I love the Cuttlebug, and I know some of you haven't been, or were kind of depressed because they went, they discontinued them from Cricut, and you were worried about where you were going to get things. Of course, you can buy the Doris ones really cheaply at, where's it? Joann's, I think it is. But I think this is really cool to be able to make your own design. Now, this turned out beautifully, y'all. I just love it. Did you hear it clinking apart? See if you're going to be able to see this. Let me move my plates and my little card down below. And you may not be able to see it really, really well. So what I'm going to do, I don't know if you can see it at all. Probably not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a paint. Now these are ancient. You know, I've had these since probably about 15 years, and believe it or not, they still work. So I'm just going to go ahead and go like this on it, so you'll be able to see what did happen. And I was watching May yesterday, and I don't know if it was an old video of hers, and she was doing this on some of her cards to make them textured. And it was really cool because she would use different colors. I'm not crazy about the lighting. And so, just do like that. I have a couple different of these. Let's see, try this one once. Okay. So I think you'll be able to see this. And if not, I might get a different light. So it's embossed on this side. That's terrible. Can't see it very well at all. Let me try turning this light, my overhead light, out for just a second and get a different light. Okay, well, that didn't do anything. Well, there you can see it. And I hold it up like this. So since you can see this one, let me show you the cardstock. This is the plain cardstock, and actually what this is it's just the backing of the Cricut paper that I bought. So I bought Cricut paper, and this was the backing that I cut up for the letters, and I cut it up for the, oh, I just figured out what's making all the glare is my computer screen. That's what the problem is. So if I back up, you can see that a little bit, and let's see. It's my computer screen. It's making it hard for you to see it. Anyway, all right, let me turn my light back on, and let's go up and see how I did this, and then I'll show you the next one that I have to show. So of course you saw this one, which was the pumpkins, and you can see that really well because there's not a glare because of the white. So these are just little pumpkins that I cut out. And of course the little gears, and those of you who have Silhouette software, you know about these little gears and flowers and things. Okay, enough of that. Let's look up here at Silhouette first, and then we'll go to Cricut Design Space. So, okay, here we are at Silhouette. And again, so what I did was I made this rectangle 5.25 inches by 4.0 inches. And again, the reasoning is I want to make an extra piece that's going to fit, let me show you, on the inside of my card like that. Okay, so here, imagine this is my card, and then I want the pretty pattern piece or the embossed piece to fit inside of that with a nice white border around it. Okay, so all I did then was I got that, remember I got this bat, and all I did was take him and resize him down. And notice he's in the back of that, so I right-clicked on the rectangle and said send to back. So then all I did was bring this guy over on top, click on him to highlight him, hold down the Alt on my keyboard here, and then just start dragging more and more copies of him. Just did a whole slew of them, however many you think you might want. And then what I did was I just started resizing them and twisting them and turning them around. Of course, it doesn't really matter what they look like on here, because guess what? You're just cutting them out of this, and then you're going to glue them on your cardstock eventually. One thing I thought might be kind of cool though was to have them like either really big at the bottom and then like way tiny at the top. I don't know, as if they're flying from getting further away. But I didn't do that, but I just thought that'd be kind of fun to do. So again, all that you do is do all of this. Just put a whole slew of them on, rotating them, changing their sizes if you want to. And those of you who like to mess with nodes, if you want to, you could click on this and let's simplify it, because that's a heck of a lot of nodes. Let's come over here to the right where it says simplify. Let's simplify those nodes. And then let's just scroll in a little bit, because maybe those of you who like to mess with nodes, you might like to change the look. Hey, what is that? That was weird. Okay, that's really strange. Not sure why that's pulling out white like that all of a sudden. I'm having a brain freeze or something, but what is that? That's odd, but I can change it to black. Okay, I can change it like that if I want to, but that just was odd to me. So now it's working the way I would have expected it. So I can just click on the nodes and just drag them out in case I wanted to make them look different. You know? Anyway, I'm going to delete him because he's hideous. All right, I'm going to go back in. And so I would just fill up this page. And what I actually did on mine, I think with the bats, and I'll show you that in a minute. Well, here it is here. What I did with this one was I went ahead and got a couple of my pumpkins from my other one that I had made earlier. So I can ungroup this one. And then I can click on one of these pumpkins, hold down Alt on my keyboard, and drag one over here to add them into this one if I'd like to, and another one. And again, I could just do it here, and I could resize these so that they look kind of cool on there. All right, so let me get rid of this. So then the next thing I did if I was in Silhouette was I just went ahead and grabbed everything and said group. And then I went over here to send. Now notice that the only thing that's going to cut right now is the box around them, and uh-oh, this little guy's little tail feathers are outside, so let's go back to the design and fix that. And sure enough, there they are. Look at that. Got to make sure that everything is within, whoops, I'm going to ungroup it first. Want to make sure everything is within that. All right, now I'm going to group it again. And I might as well just put it up here in the corner. And now I'll go to send. And again, you'll notice the only thing that's right now cutting is the outer box, right? If I want the orange pumpkins to cut with that, I would click that. And of course I do want them to cut. I want everything to cut out because what I actually want are just a little kind of cardstock chipboard cutouts. And the pattern, of course, is the bats, I thought. Okay, there we go. And the bats. So I would just change it to chipboard, and that's what I did on mine. Everybody's Cameo is a little bit different. You'll need to test yours, as I always say, before you go ahead and waste a whole sheet. Test it first. So I tested mine. Hold on, I'm getting some coffee. All right. So I tested mine first, and then I set mine because I'm using the ratchet blade, not the auto blade. I changed it to about 8 for the cut, 2 for the speed, and the force is 33, and it actually had to make 3 passes on mine. So that's all you have to do. Let me go back into the design, and again, to make this pumpkin, pardon me, all I did was, let's pretend like this is, well, let me just get a silhouette of a pumpkin. So I'll just go online really quick and go here and pumpkin, oops, silhouette. Okay, and there's a pumpkin silhouette. I'll just use this one. So I'll click on that, and there it is. That's a junky one, but it really doesn't matter too much because we're not printing this. I'll get this one. So I'm going to copy this image, and let me delete this. I'll go back to silhouette, and I will paste it. Oh, delete. What was that? That must have been a PNG image. Did you notice that? And I wasn't paying attention. So we got to go back again to this, and I'll do pumpkin silhouette again. And so is this the one I took? Yeah, look at that. See those checks behind it? You don't want to get a PNG to just copy and paste into your silhouette software. You need to get one that's not a PNG. So let's see. Okay. Oh, no, PNG. There we go. That one's not a PNG. I'm going to get rid of a little bit when it comes in too. So I'm going to copy this one, copy image, and then I'm just going to come in here and say paste. There it is, and I can make it a lot bigger so I can doctor it up right now. And as I said, I'm going to doctor this one up because I don't want these squirrely things on there, but maybe you do. If you like those, you can keep it like that. I'm going to go ahead and trace it by hitting the trace over here. Select trace area. Just go like this. Trace it. I'm not sure why that didn't do. Try that again. Select the trace area. Typical when you go live, right? Something doesn't work properly. Try it one more time on this one. I'll get a different image if this won't work. Select the trace area. All right. Show must go on. Let's delete this one and go get a different one. Darn it. I don't think that was the issue, but we'll pretend. All right. Okay, that one's really scary looking. I like that one. Oh, darn it. I would need, since this is a PNG image, what I would need to do to save this one is to save it to my file, and then I could open it up. So I would go to File, Save Image As, and I'd save it as a Halloween pumpkin in my download. So I'll just use this one. Then I'll go back to Silhouette, and I've got to go File, and I'll say Merge because I want to bring it into the same one. Halloween pumpkin, there he is. All right, so here's my Halloween pumpkin. So now he's good just like that. But I think I will trace him because I see some funny lines behind him. Here we go. So I'll just trace and detach. All right, finally we got one. So I can get rid of all this junk behind him. And I'm ready for him to go, except for I see some little crazy lines behind his eyes. Let's look at this ones and see what's going to happen when I cut it. Say if I say simple cut. All right, so all it's doing is cutting his outer edge, and the reason being is I see something strange behind here. See that? Can you see those little lines there? So what I'm just going to do is I'm going to click on him and say Object, Release Compound Path. Okay, here we go again, right? All right, so one last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select the trace area, and I'm going to trace it. And I'm going to move that up like that. Okay, and now I'm just going to say select trace outer edge. That's all I want. All right, so now we're good to go. Sometimes you just have to make do, right? So what I have right now is a pumpkin, and I can fill him in if you'd like me to, so you can see him a little bit better. And then what I did on my pumpkin over here was I just took this guy and I came up here to this little line tool, and I clicked and clicked till I got a triangle, and I sized it the way I wanted it to be. And of course you can make any shape you want to. And then I held down my Alt key and made another one. Then I grabbed both of those and the pumpkin, and I came over here to the modify panel and said subtract. So what that did was it subtracted the eyeballs right out of there. So when I go to cut this, let's look and see what happens. And those of you with Cricut, don't get discouraged. We're going to go over there next. But let's go back to design so we could see how that worked. Now, we have another shape here that works perfectly for his mouth, the little moon shape. So I'm just going to draw that on here. Whoa, a little too big. And of course, I could go ahead and change it however I'd like and add teeth if I wanted to. I'm just going to leave it right like that for now. So I'm going to click off, then click on that to highlight it, hold down my shift key and grab the pumpkin, and once again come over here to the modify panel way over here on the right and click subtract. So there he is. Alright, so the next thing I would do is I would just grab another one of these pieces if I had one. Let's see. Let's ungroup this. And I'm just going to grab the square, hold down my Alt, and drag it up. Then I'll regroup these. And I was just being lazy. I didn't want to have to measure another one of these rectangles. So now all I would do is go ahead and grab him and make him different sizes. Now you'll notice he's going behind this, so I want to right click on this and send it to the back, just because it's easier for me to see. And then I can just click on him, hold down my Alt key, and just start dragging more and more of him all over the place. And I actually could just do it like this if I wanted them all to be straight up and down. But again, it doesn't really matter where I put them on this, because what's going to matter is where I glue them on in the end. Alright. Whoops. So let's just see what this is going to look like if we went to make it just like this. And of course I would probably add more, resize them and that kind of thing. But I'm just going to group them, and then I'm just going to come over here to send. Alright, what's happening? The only thing cutting is the outer edge, right? That's because that's what it says over here on the right hand side. But I want everything to cut. So I click on this cut, and then all of my little pumpkins are going to cut, and then I'll have them and they'll be ready to paste onto my cardstock, and we're ready to go through my Cuttlebug. So let's go back one more time. So there's this. So I think, you know, it's really a lot of fun. Oh, this last one right here, I love this one. This one I used a font, maybe I already said this, but I used a font called Scary Halloween, and it's from dafont.com. So I just came over here to the text tool, clicked over here and typed in the word boo, and then I highlighted it. And I came over here to the text tool area and got, now there it is, Scary Halloween. And I didn't want it to be like this because when I cut these out, all of these letters would be separate. So you know what I need to do, right? Just come down here where it says character spacing on the lower part of the text style panel and take the little slider and move it until they're touching. And then just like in Design Space, we're just going to highlight everything and say weld. Perfect, just like that. And I didn't have an issue with the word boo at all. But then I wrote out the word scary. I sure wish I could see if anybody was here. And see if you guys are asking anything. Next time I'll learn how to do the comments for YouTube. Anyway, so I noticed, let's click on this and highlight it, and I'm going to get the same font so I can go up here to recently used, right here, see recently used, Scary Halloween font. Alright, so once again what I need to do is adjust this because they're too far apart. I don't want them cutting individually and me having to glue down individual letters. So I'm going to change the character spacing. Whoa, too much. Maybe. Not enough. Good. Alright, so that looks perfect except for one thing. Look at this Y out here all by himself. Don't like that. So I'm going to right click on these and ungroup. And then I can just, with the arrow key on my keyboard, move the Y over until it touches some. And that's probably pretty good like that. And then I could just highlight it all and say group. Oh no, weld. There we go. Alright, and that makes it one piece. Now here's the other thing though. Look at this. I want you to see something. Let's scroll way in. Look at this tiny little piece that's going to cut out here in the R. That's just crazy. That is not necessary. So I'm going to get rid of that by double clicking on this, which brings back the nodes. You know, we've learned to love those nodes in our classes. At least most of you have. So if I want to get rid of this circle right here, there's certain ways I can do that, several ways. One of the easiest ways right now is to just click on this one node right here. You see that little arrow pointing at it? Click on that node and it turns it to a white thing, a little white box. I can just hit delete on my keyboard. Voila, it's gone. What about this spot in the A? I don't want it. I'm going to double click there, get some nodes going on, click on one of them to make it white, and I'll just hit delete on my keyboard. That made the next one white. I'll click on that one and delete, and they're all gone. Now, but what if you're saying about PattyAnne? I want my little opening to be a little bigger there. Not a problem. Grab that little node right here and just stretch it out. Oh, I really made that weirdly shaped. Let's look, make it a little better. Okay, there's a whole lot of nodes right here going on, and I'm not exactly sure why. So I'm wondering if I come over here and simplify, if it will get rid of a few of them. It did. I'm still going to scroll in and see why are there all those nodes, because that means there's going to be little cut areas. All right, I see why now. This one, I'm going to just click on him and move him back like that. Or what I could do is delete him altogether. Right click and delete point. Okay. And I actually could do the same thing. Double click here, right click, delete point. Oh, and by the way, those of you in my Saturday class, our Patreon class, I have got something really cool to show you about nodes. It's something that's been driving us all nuts, and I'm going to show you about it on Saturday. You're going to be liking it. But anyway, all right, let's scroll back out and see, is there anything else I'd like to get rid of? Yeah, probably this little spot right here. So again, I'll just double click and delete that. And I deleted all of that. And maybe I'm thinking now it doesn't look as much like an R as what I'd like. So I can grab this node right here and just drag it in a little bit and just play around with the node to make it look a little bit more like an R, like that. Alright, now it's up to you. Did I get rid of it? Yeah, I did get rid of this part in the C because I thought if I make this word really small, that little section right there is going to be hard to do. So I did double click on this one and I clicked on this node to delete it, and I got some weirdness going on, you'll see. So I'm just going through here and clicking on the ones that get to be white. Alright, so I'm good with that. Okay, so that looks pretty cool, but if I don't like that C to be quite so thick, of course I can go ahead and change it some. can click here and just add a node. Now, if I'm going way too fast for you guys, you know what? You need to join us in our Patreon class, because honestly, we have so much fun learning things over in there and helping each other. It's just a really cool thing. It's only $5 a month. I don't know. It's, you know, a class every week for an hour. We really enjoy it. So anyway, here's the scary. I'll just leave it like that for now, and then I'm just going to minimize, make it smaller. And of course I can, let's go back to this. All right, so you'll notice that I made some kind of, I left those pretty big because I was a little bit scared about those little cuts that I was making, but it worked out just fine, and I'll show you that in just a minute because I have cut that out. But before I show you that, let's go over to Cricut Design Space. You guys have been waiting long enough. So go over to Cricut Design Space. Whoops. Oh, okay, delete. All right, so what I did on Cricut Design Space first was I made the same rectangle just by coming over to the shape tool. I got the square, and I made the rectangle the size up here. You see it is 4 by 5.25, just as I suggested. Now, I don't like that color, so I'm going to make it a little bit of a prettier color because that's awfully dark. Okay, so then what I did was I just went up to Images, and you can see what I typed in up here, Halloween silhouettes. So what I did was I just scrolled down here because I wanted to find something that would make a nice overall design. And the one that I found that I liked was well, actually I found this word spooky, and I really thought that would be cool. But the other one I found, oh, it was this. Isn't that cute with the bats? The bats flourish border. I like that. Bats flourish border. You could take a screenshot now if you want to get the sizing of it, or I mean the number of it if you want to find it yourself. Okay, so what I did was I brought that into Cricut Design Space. So let's go back to the canvas. And it came in really big like this. So obviously I needed to fix it because I don't want it that big. So all I did was make it about this small, and I duplicated a bunch of them. Okay, I tried to do Control D. I thought maybe that would duplicate it, but it doesn't. So what we need to do is come up here to duplicate, and it makes another one. So then I thought I would just put these, and I'm not sure, no, I don't want to. I was going to put them upside down too, like have them nest together, but that would make my bats upside down. So all I'm going to do is just put 3 or 4 of these, however many fit, in here like this. But what I could do is I could, let's see, where do you do flip horizontal? Okay, so I could put one here. That doesn't really work, does it? Darn. Thought that was going to let me put them closer. Now I'd still have to make my bats upside down. So let's just bring this guy back in and this in. Stagger them or not. All right, so that's all that I would do with this. And go ahead and delete this one. And I'll group these together. No, I'm not going to group them together. I'm going to attach them. And it doesn't matter if they turned like that because I'm just going to cut them out. So let's see, did I do that properly? Yeah, it's telling me that this is too big, but this is fine, just like this. So that would work perfectly. We don't care what color they are. We don't care that they all change to the same color because they're just going to be a piece of cardstock that we're going to glue onto another piece of cardstock. So that's all you'd have to do with that one. I'm going to delete it. Oh, I shouldn't have. Let me undo that. I don't know what that just was. Well, darn, I lost it. Oh boy, let's see. Shoot. Well, let's just do this again. Let's go to Shapes, get a square, change the shape of the square or the size of it, unlock it, and we will make it 4 inches by 5.5. Hit enter. And again, I'm going to change its color because I don't like that color. And then I'm going to go and get that image. So I go to images and I'm going to say Halloween silhouettes. And it was way down here. Oh darn, didn't I say that? Halloween silhouettes, plural, maybe it'll come up. Okay, this is the page I was on. Isn't that funny that it comes up differently depending on whether you put an S at the end of your word? So it's way down here. I remember seeing it. Hope you're not getting seasick. There it is. Spooky. I really like that a lot. Insert. Okay. So there's the word spooky. And as you know right off the bat, it's not going to work perfectly for our purposes because this is going to be a separate part of cardstock or chipboard. This will be a separate, this and this. And we don't like it like that, so we're going to click on it and, oh no, it doesn't say that I can ungroup anything. Y'all, what am I going to do? Oh, well, as you know, the only thing that we can do is contour. So, oh, I wish I had thought of this. All right, I'm not going to do it like this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this a few times. I don't want to contour all that out. I'm going to move some of these over here. Here's hoping this is going to work properly. I don't work that much in Cricut Design Space anymore since I've gotten Silhouette for my Cricut. It's just so much easier to use. But let's see, I think this will work if I get a shape. And I'm just going to grab these two. And then I'm going to take this and this and I'm going to slice. Yeah, this will work. So I'll have the S and the P separate. And I can delete this. And I probably should have saved a box, but that's okay. Shape, get a box, take it over here, take it over the O and the O. I think I'm going to get these guys first. No. Let's see. I think that'll be okay. I'm going to go like that, highlight both of those and say slice. So again, I'll have the O as, and I'll just need to do one more slice. Delete that. Get a shape again, get a box, bring it over. And I think I'll do the Y first. Go like that. And slice. There's the Y that we need, and the K then will be separate as well. Alright, so. Okay, we got a little issue going on here. Got a little tiny bit right here. You see that little tiny bit? Easy to get rid of now. I can just contour this, and I'll contour that right out. Boom, gone. I got the same thing going on right here. Got an extra little piece right here. Click on this, contour it, find that little rascal, there he is, and delete it out. Boom. Alright, it seems like there's something else hidden up here. What is this? Yep, look at that. Got a little piece hidden up here with the O's as well. Got to contour that out. Oh, where are you, little piece? There you are. Boom, gone. Okay, so now we're ready to roll. So all I'm going to do now is put all these pieces closer together so I can weld them. S-P-O-O. Let's make sure you get them in the correct order. K, Y. And of course, it doesn't really matter if I have them lined up properly or not because this is a spooky word. So now all I'm going to do is grab all of this and say weld. So I obviously didn't need all these pieces down here that I was thinking I needed, so I'm going to highlight all of them and delete. Okay, so now we have the word spooky, and we can put this all over our page like this. Just duplicate it a bunch of times and change its size, change its rotation, and just make a cool thing for our Cuttlebug or whatever machine you might happen to have. And of course you can make it say other words in here as well. You know, get some crazy fonts, put all different kind of stuff in here. Just have to make sure that you can weld your fonts together so you don't have to be playing with gluing on all these little tiny pieces. So that's all there is to that. So then all I would do with this is go, well, let me put this last one on there. Say I was happy with that. I would just group it all together. And then I would go over to make it. Oh, I forgot something, didn't I? Let's cancel. I grouped it, but I didn't attach it, so nothing stayed where I wanted it to be. Although that doesn't really matter for this time, because I'm just going to cut these out and then glue them onto something. But if I want to, I can attach them, and then I can go to make it. And there they are. They're going to cut out just like that. We'll have these little cutouts that will glue onto a piece of cardstock. All right, so hopefully that helps you with Cricut. I wanted to show you, I'm a little bit afraid to show this for fear it didn't turn out well for live, but let's check it out. Okay, here is the piece that I cut out, and I actually cut this out again on my silhouette, and I just picked this up and they all came off perfectly. So there's my little bats and all my little pumpkins. So I can just take these right off. And by the way, I don't know if any of you have to do this ever on your mats. I have that really tiny, skinny masking tape that I use sometimes on the edges of any of my mats to make sure stuff stays down perfectly and doesn't have a chance to wiggle when I don't want it to. So there they are. And again, the only thing I need to do, I see, is to poke out the little face on these guys. I'll use my pin pen that a lot of you have and like to use. And this is going to work perfectly, I'm pretty sure. So, my little pumpkins. So I'll just glue this on. So if you need a break or to go get a cup of coffee while I'm gluing these, you can. I think I have a piece of cardstock. I do right here. And I'm just going to willy-nilly glue these on, hopefully pretty quickly. I think I'll glue them all with the black side down so that shine doesn't drive you nuts. I still see the shine. Well, anyway. So go get yourself something to drink or something to nibble on if you want to hang around and see if this one works out okay. I'm just putting this on here willy-nilly. I'm not trying to be an artiste about it. So again, I'll look at the comments if there are any when I'm done with this and answer you underneath of the video on YouTube. So if you have any questions that you can also ask me there. Again, you know, for those of you that use Cricut, I'm telling you, you want to get the Silhouette software. Goodness, don't use my link. Use any link at all. It's only about $50 or $60, maybe 60 some. It's a one-time fee, but there's so much you can do with that software for your Cricut machine. I promise. It starts out with a beautiful offset that you can make. So easy to use glyphs. Whoopsie, I turned that one. Must not have had him pressed down well. Okay, I'll just put a few more of these on here so we can see how it's going to work. And then, hey, these aren't sticking. Why? maybe it doesn't stick very well on the shiny side. Again, I'm using that, I love these tiny ones. I'm using the backing from card or paper. See, it's the backing. There's that little sheet. So I said I did 3 passes on my cameo. I'm sure I didn't need to do 3 passes, but I was being safe. All right, that's probably enough, right? To see if it's going to work. I don't know if I need to put any more on here. Yeah, I think we'll stop right there just to check this out, and let's see how it's going to work. So as you can see, hopefully, let's see, get beyond my computer and you can see, those are just little cardstock cutouts that I glued onto that piece of cardstock, the cardboard. Let's get my Cuttlebug back out. And there's barely enough room on this table for me and all my stuff. So shall we do it on white again? Or maybe I want to do it on something like this. And this, oh, you can't see it. This, if that would work. That might be cute. But let's just do it first on a piece of, what should we do? I guess I'll do it first on a piece of white just to make sure that it works and we can see it. So let's get that order going on again that we need. So again, let's move the Cuttlebug for a sec so you can see. Whoops. I have my plates. Let's go out a little bit. There we go. Okay. I have these plates. Plate A goes down first, and then a plate B, and then my cardstock with my cutouts facing up, and then the card that I want to put it on top of that, then the rubber mat, and then the final all-important plate B so you don't get tangled up in your machine. Let me move that out to the side for a sec. Bring my bug over, open it up, and I'll tell you what, I'll have a link down below for the Cuttlebugs. There's 2 different places where you can still get them. I love mine. It just, if you like making cards or anything out of cardstock, it just adds such a professional, nice look. And if you use my link down below, of course, you know it's an affiliate link and I get a teeny, weeny, weeny little commission, but it just helps me to be able to keep going. So, let's keep our fingers crossed. Okay, keep your fingers crossed. Oh, that worked beautifully. Oh, so cute, you guys. Wait, you see. Now you're not going to be able to see it probably. I can see it beautifully. But, so let me highlight it with one of my little ink pads. I'll use this light purple. And you'll be able to see them then. This is what's on there now. And it's super duper cute. Use a different color as well. I probably have a few more colors. You know, I have this little thing, and these have too much ink in them, even though they're as old as the hills also. There's a darker purple. I have a lot of glitter in here because I love to use glitter. There's a green sage. That might be nice. Oh, I like using shadow ink also. You know I like glitter. Look at all that glitter. All right. I'll show you this one on the back side. You'll see this color box one. It is just way too inky, I think. Whoa. I just don't like the lines, the smeary lines it makes. You probably can't see that, but it does. It makes smeary, ugly lines. So, said I was going to use the green. Well, the green's almost dry. Oh, don't like what I just did. Oh, oh well, good thing these are just samples. What did I want to use? Oh yeah, the shadow ink. I like this stuff. Try it on this. No, don't try that side because it's ugly. Because I use that other ink. All right. So anyway, you get the idea. There's so much you can do with this. Let's go back once again to silhouette. Well, let me show you this right quick. It's
kind of ugly, but you can see the embossed stuff, and that's what I really wanted you to be able to see, was how easily that works, that you can make your own things. So let's go back to Silhouette one more time. I want to show you something over there. And so on Silhouette, Tammy and I were talking about this and how much fun it would be. Let's ungroup so I can get that little box behind there, what I want. And I'll just group these back together so they stay. All right, so we have this little box again. And Tammy and I were saying how much fun it would be to come over here where all these shapes are and get one of these shapes and use it. Look, we can make stars, but check out this, the flowers. You know how we can do these flowers, right? But look, those of you who don't have this program, look at this. You can do this with the flowers. You can make a ton more. How easy would it be to make your own paper or, you know, flowers for stuff? Look what you can do. This is so cool. I just love this. Anyway, and so we could do this. Let's see if I won't want to. Oh, now I don't know how to go back. Oh, there we go. Okay, so if I wanted these, I can make a bunch of these to go on here. You know, different shapes. Come back over here to the shape tool. Maybe I want to make some stars. Come over here and get this star, and watch this, y'all. I can change this star for how many little things it has. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I just love this. And put a bunch of these on there. What else we got over here? Airplanes. Hey, you can put airplanes on. I think Susie likes airplanes. How about trees for Christmas? We could put a bunch of Christmas trees on there, or bells for Christmas. Balloons. That'd be cute. Where'd that go? Balloons for birthdays. You can make birthday ones. And not only that, you can make birthday ones, and you could also put the text happy birthday in here. All right, just as one last final tease for you who are here from Cricut Design Space, I want to show you one thing. This is it. I promise I won't bother you anymore, but let me just show you how easy it is to offset. Let's say I'm just typing in the word PattyAnne, right? And I'm making a cake topper, and I want that to be pink. And I want it to be a pretty font. So, oh, I know everybody loves Magnolia Sky, right? So there it is, Magnolia Sky, pretty font. If this is for my birthday, let's say that says happy birthday instead of PattyAnne. I'd right click and weld this together. And you may be thinking, well, that's really, oopsie, they weren't all touching, so they're not totally welded, as you know. And that could be a problem as well. But let me show you this. Let's grab all of this stuff and come over here to this little star that says offset panel. Click on that. And notice what that did. That put an offset around there. And I'm going to make that offset white. And then I'm going to put another offset around it. And I'm going to make that purple, because pretend Patty likes purple and pink. And that is that. So I would just group all of these together. And that's how easy it is, you guys, to do offsets in this program. And you can save anything that you make. File, save as, save to hard drive. You can save anything you make. Look down here as an SVG. That is a cut file. That's how you make your own cut files yourself in this program for your Cricut machine. Try it. I promise you're going to love it. Anyway, I'll have a link down below for that. And I'll have a link down below for my Patreon classes, where if you do have this program, I highly recommend that you join us for classes. There'll be a live one tomorrow, as a matter of fact. And remember, those of you who are Patreons, there's going to be a special tip about using nodes tomorrow. So anyway, if I've been live, if anyone's been here, thank you so much for joining me. I have no clue if I've been here by myself. But anyway, at least it recorded, and I'll put the recording live. So thank you very, very much for joining me, and I'll see y'all again soon. Bye-bye.